There are so many reasons to invest in Malaysia these days. We already have a stronger currency, we have high foreign direct investments, and our GDP growth has been pretty good. Now, the Federal Reserve in the US decided to cut interest rates, finally, which means that more money should flow to emerging markets like Malaysia. So with all of this going on, how can we invest our money into Malaysian stocks so that we can benefit from this growth? So in today's video, I'll cover 3 different sectors or themes that I think will do well in Malaysia so you guys can decide if it's for you. And at the end of this video, I'll also show you guys how you can actually buy and invest into Malaysian stocks or ETFs. Let's get to it. By the way, a lot of the research that I did for this video came from moomoo. That's where the ideas came from. But anyway, yeah, if you guys want to invest into any stocks, whether it's in Malaysia or the US, then you will need a broker. So moomoo is a pretty good option. If you guys want to sign up, you can use my link. I'll leave it down below and you get some nice freebies when you sign up and deposit your money. The first sector or theme that I will be talking about today is, of course, airlines. Just kidding. Of course, it will have to be data centers. So Malaysia's data center growth is expected to be 14% per year to hit $4 billion by 2029. We're also on track to become the fastest growing data center market in the Southeast Asian region. So what companies will benefit from this? To find this on moomoo, I just click on to markets, I click on to the Malaysian tab, and I scroll down until I see this investment themes portion of it, and I click into data center to see which stocks are involved. So first up, let's talk about our technology stocks. So there are many tech names in the Malaysian stock market, names like Inari, Vitrox or Vitrox, I don't know how you call them, SNS Network. These are all names that will benefit from the heavy investments into data centers, AI, as well as semiconductors. There are also many other tech names out there that will benefit from this, but in today's video, I will be talking specifically about the sectors or the themes, not about individual stocks. So with the semiconductor boom that we've seen recently, not just in Malaysia, but globally, I guess, companies like Nvidia, they've basically 10 times their market cap over the last 2 years, which is pretty insane, and now it's trickling over to Malaysia as well. I mean, after all, we are the 6th largest exporter of semiconductors in the world. I think we're only behind countries like China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Singapore. But the real opportunity for these semiconductor names or tech names in Malaysia is if we're able to move up the supply chain to an area that is more lucrative, where the margins are higher. So in case you guys didn't know, right now the Malaysian semiconductor industry, we're mainly at the final stages of the supply chain. So we do things like assembly, testing, packaging, once all of the design has been done in countries like the US or Taiwan. All this sounds nice, but it's not so easy to do just because there's a lot of competition, everyone wants to do it, and there's also very high barriers to entry. So the country that wants to have this kind of technology, we need a lot of resources, we need a lot of skilled workers and stuff like that. But it seems that we are working on it through things like the New Industrial Master Plan 2030. So yeah, it is a possibility, but it won't be easy. And if we can actually unlock this growth, it won't just be good for the technology companies in Malaysia, it will be good for Malaysia's growth overall as well. But one risk that I do want to call out if you guys want to invest into Malaysian tech companies is that they are very heavily exposed towards the US dollar, which means that if the ringgit is strengthening, their profits will suffer. So names like Pentamaster, Inari, MPI, all of these companies, they sell a lot of their products to overseas customers. They receive their revenue in US dollar, which, like I said, if the ringgit strengthens right now, like right now against the US dollar, their profits will struggle. For example, Inari, they just announced their latest quarterly report at the end of August, and they already mentioned that they're facing a 17% decline in profit estimates just because of these forex movements, aka the Malaysian ringgit is strengthening against the US dollar. But still, I'm sure a lot of you guys know that technology companies have been the major driver of growth, not just in Malaysia, but globally as well. So it's never a bad thing to invest into tech companies as well, which is why I think Malaysian tech companies should be under our consideration. But aside from just these technology companies, who else will benefit from this boom of data center investments into Malaysia? The answer to that is energy companies, because to power these data centers, they require a lot of energy. But don't just listen to me, listen to Sam Altman, who is the co-founder of the company who made ChatGPT. He basically said that the future of AI depends on a breakthrough in clean energy. So they talk about stuff like nuclear and solar energy harvesting to make it more sustainable in the future. But until we get there, we will have to rely on more traditional ways to get energy. And this is where our utility companies come in. So companies like Tenaga, YTL Power, they have already benefited a lot from these investments into data centers. And it's not just electric companies, right? Because these data centers use up so much power, I guess they get a bit hot and they need cooling, which is where utility companies or water companies like Renhill come in as well. To make it an integrated play, YTL Power even acquired a controlling stake into Renhill. That's how seriously they're taking this whole theme or this whole sector of more data center investments in Malaysia. And for those of you guys who follow the Bursa stock market very closely, or maybe you work at YTL, which I would say congrats and good luck, because over the last 3 years, they've basically doubled their revenue and their stock price has gone up by 5 times since January 2023. This means that if you invested 10,000 ringgit 18 months ago, today the value of that investment would be over 50,000 ringgit. But it's not just the new boy in town, because our good old friend Tenaga has also been doing extremely well. So I used to invest in Tenaga, some of you guys might know, because I like their dividends and I thought that, utilities companies, they're pretty safe. But I decided to sell it because, even though I got dividends, the stock price wasn't moving. And of course, as soon as I sold the stock, it has gone up by 46% this year. I'm not even kidding. I'm pretty sure I sold this stock under 10 ringgit. Right now, it's trading at 14 ringgit, which means I missed out on a lot of profits. Just a quick side note on this energy part. Apparently, there are also a lot of palm oil planters in Malaysia who are also trying to lease out their land to harvest solar energy. There was this research paper that came out by Maybank, and they said that if some of these guys lease out their land to harvest solar energy for data centers, they can make 54 times more profit compared to if they just planted palm oil. Obviously, it's not all plots of land, but those that are close to data centers who can benefit from this, names like I think Sime Darby Guthrie, IOI, KLK, it might be worth watching out for them as well. Moving on from the data center theme, we have the construction and property companies. I guess, well, they are kind of still linked to the data center theme, just because, with the booming data center market as well as a generally strong economy, these guys, they are really starting to benefit now, which means that they are one of the top performers in Bursa in 2024. In fact, just looking at it now, they're actually the best ones. So this construction index in Bursa Malaysia, they're up by 40% this year so far, which is pretty massive. And they're just ahead of the utility companies. These guys, these construction guys, they've been unloved for a very long time up until recently. I mean, just look at Sime Darby Property. For the last 4 years, their stock price has done basically nothing, just trade in a small range. And then this year, all of a sudden, they're up by 150%. There are also other construction names like Gamuda, IJM, Sunway. A lot of these guys are also up massively this year. And luckily, I am kind of, in a way, invested into these names via this Malaysian ETF. I really like this ETF. Actually, at this point, I'm only invested into Bursa via this ETF. So if you guys want to find out more about this, I did make a video about it a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. If you guys want to check it out, I'll leave it right here and in the description below as well. But yeah, like I said, these guys, they are beneficiaries of the data center boom, of course, but there are also a lot of other extra projects on public infrastructure as well as residential areas. Finally, we have the banking and financial sector. So these guys, this one is not really related to the data center theme. It's not really related to any sector or theme actually. It's what we call a macro play. So basically, macro plays means that if an economy is doing well, this sector should be doing well as well. Just think about it this way, if all of us start making more money, if our salaries go up, a lot of Malaysians are rich, then who will benefit? Of course, the banks, because they do finance a lot of our transactions and they also hold a lot of our money. And yes, the stocks of these companies have also skyrocketed this year. So names like Maybank, Public Bank is not like some hidden gem. These have always been investor favorites just because their dividends have been so high. But in previous years, even though they do pay a high dividend, the stock price, like Tenaga, it just trades in a small range, doesn't really go anywhere. But this year, they've been doing pretty well. I think Maybank is up nearly 20%, which is quite good. And this doesn't count their juicy 5% dividends yet. And if I'm not mistaken, CIMB is the best performing banking or financial stock listed on Bursa Malaysia this year. Maybe there is another one, a smaller bank that I'm not aware of. I didn't really check, to be honest. But yeah, you can look at CIMB. They're up 44% so far this year. That is a really good return, especially for a banking stock. And this doesn't count their dividends, which is over 4%. So yeah, a lot of money that these investors made. If you invested 1 year ago, then perfect. Now it does look a bit high. But out of all of the sectors that I've been talking about today, I do think that this banking and financial sector will get the most foreign fund inflow, which basically means when foreigners want to invest in Malaysia, I do think that most of them will decide to invest in banks, just because, like I said, one, it's a macro play, and because these banks are really big, they do have a lot of liquidity, which means that a bank can come in and buy a lot of shares of Maybank, CIMB without affecting price too much. We can see an example of this, the Norway Sovereign Wealth Fund. They do have a lot of money to deploy all over the world. They do invest in Malaysia as well, and their top holdings are banks. It's Maybank, CIMB, Public Bank. These three names are the top holdings that they have in Bursa Malaysia. Hopefully, our economy continues to grow, our wages, our salary all start to grow as well, and these banks, they should be doing well as a result of that. That's the good thing about investing into these banks. It isn't really tied to any sector, so it doesn't matter what drives the growth of Malaysia. It can be semiconductors, it can be AI, data centers, it can even be drones, whatever it is, right? As long as the Malaysian economy does well, these Malaysian banks should do well as well. So with all that being said, there's so many opportunities. We want to invest in Malaysia. How do we do it? So like I said, you will need a broker. And yeah, moomoo is a pretty good app. I'm using it right now. So let me just jump straight through the app and guide you guys on how to make your first trade or your first investment. So you can see this is the standard page. I have my watch list here. Let me just show you guys how you can look at the themes as well. You can see I click on markets. There's like US, ETF, all this stuff. But let's just click on MY because that's Malaysia. And this is what they will show. If you scroll down and down and down, you can see investment themes here. So you can see banking sector, construction, agribusiness, Johor state sector, and data centers as well. So let's say we want to do data center. I click into that. These are all the stocks that could possibly benefit from data center growth. So let's say I want to invest in Tenaga. I'm a bit upset that I sold it below 10 ringgit. Now I want to buy it back. And look at this moomoo banner here. It's saying Malaysian stocks keep soaring. Makes me feel even worse. But yeah, so Tenaga is right here. What you want to do is you want to click trade at the bottom left, and then you'll come to this page here. So order type, you want to always leave it at limit, and then the price. This is what price you want to buy it at. So let's say I want to buy it at 14 ringgit. If you want to buy it immediately, you should put like 14.74, whatever price you put. But let's say I want to bargain a bit, I want to buy at 14 ringgit. Then how many shares you want to buy. So in Malaysia, the minimum is 100. It goes up by 100 as well. So you can see 100, 200. Let's say I want to buy 100 shares at 14 ringgit. Time in force, day means that if it doesn't get filled this day, your order will be cancelled. So most of the times I will click GTC, good till cancel. And once you're done, you just click buy, type in your password. Hopefully you guys can't see my password, and then just click buy. Right? Once you have this, you just click confirm. Yeah, I guess add it to my watch list. And you can see that's in your orders here. So let me just cancel this because I don't actually want to buy Tenaga. Just want to show it to you guys. But yeah, that's how it works. It's pretty simple. If you guys want to sell, it's the exact same thing. It's just that instead of clicking buy, you click sell. So that easy. That's all you have to do. And I gave you guys a lot of suggestions on what stocks or what ETFs you guys can invest in as well. Just have a look. As usual, you have to do your own research. I didn't talk about any specific stock here, just sectors. So you guys can look at these sectors, go and check out moomoo, do the research a bit, find out which companies you like, and then invest in them so that we can all benefit, hopefully, from Malaysia's growth. So let me know what you guys think about all of this. Do you think Malaysia's economy is actually going to continue growing? And if you do, what companies do you think are the best for us to invest in to really capture that growth? Because if Malaysia does well and our investment portfolio doesn't go up, that's a shame, right? We don't want to miss out. Anyway, thanks for watching this video to the end, guys. If you guys want to sign up for moomoo, use my link. I'll leave it down below. You'll get some nice rewards. You support the channel. I really appreciate it. Give this video a huge thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.